Hi, Relentless. Is that you? I better check. Yeah. Chat's open. I'll be with you in a minute.
Moore now says the $5 billion surplus wasn't real, rather a one-time infusion of cash from the COVID era. Some of the money was spent, though, and we asked the governor on what.
Fixing things like Charlotte Hall. When we walked in on day one, we realized how many problems that we now had to immediately fix because I was not going to allow our military veterans to be living in one of the worst veterans homes in the country.
And again, the Senate will start debating the budget on Monday.
Fox 45's Olivia Dance. Federal government downsizing making Fairfax County's budget debate more painful.
This is a budget that nobody's going to like. I didn't like presenting it. I didn't like getting it ready. I don't like where we are today. However, this is where we are.
County Executive Brian Hill addressing multiple issues, including a deficit of $300 million that needs a remedy, and a county, as he tells 7 News, that could be offering assistance to displaced federal workers and contractors.
If you're looking at numbers anywhere from 150 to 200,000, yeah, that places a significant burden on our budget because we will be providing them services.
Adding,
if we have to reduce, we will. If we get more influx of cash, we'll deal with that as well.
Public hearings for the budget are April 22nd. Scott Lynn on WMAL and WMAL.com.
Up next, traffic and weather.
Want to get some good discounted food and dining options, reliable roadside assistance, preferred credit card offers, or fraud protection? You need to check out AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. No matter what your age is, you can take advantage of the services they provide for either yourself or your family, and have confidence that their partners stand behind the vision our nation's founders had to enrich the lives of all Americans through goods and services offered by like-minded companies. families. But joining AMAC isn't just about the benefits. It's about belonging to a community that stands for timeless American values. Regardless of your age, you can enroll in a 5-year AMAC membership for 47% off. Visit amac.us/SRS today to take advantage of this special offer. AMAC's membership is made up of Americans who believe in faith, family, and freedom. We're over 2 million members strong and growing. Their mission is simple: protect the interests of all freedom-loving Americans and offer incredible member benefits. From exclusive discounts on travel insurance and everyday services to supporting strong representation in Washington, D.C., AMAC's here to make a difference in your life and our nation. Visit amac.us/SRS today to join millions of Americans who believe in backing their mission. That's amac.us/SRS. Join AMAC and become a part of a movement that stands for you, your family, and your future.
While serving in Iraq, our vehicle was hit. They didn't think I was going to make it. I'm Latoya Lucas, and I'm a veteran. I had to learn to live with the scars, both visible and invisible.
DAV helps veterans like Latoya get the benefits they've earned. They help more.
Virginia, 95 northbound, light volume out of Triangle to the Beltway. Southbound, however, an unusual delay still between Lorton and Woodbridge with the crash blocking the right lane. Keep alert on the Fairfax County Parkway for the accident before Burke Lake Road. Roadwork bunches up the George Washington Parkway northbound past the CIA and southbound from 123 past the overlooks. Maryland inbound 50 at the Beltway for the crash. Delays now before 704. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WNAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
And it'll be warmer this afternoon, highs between 65 to 70 with maybe an isolated shower chance this afternoon. Tomorrow, 20 degrees above average, highs between 80 and 85. It'll be a little bit breezy and lots of cloud cover Sunday, highs in the upper 70s with an isolated rain shower chance. I'm 7 News meteorologist Eileen Whalen in the First Alert Weather Center.
51 in Washington, John Matthews, News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. Chris Plant.
March 29th, it's my birthday. And all I want to see happen on my birthday is for Elon to be taken down. Yes.
Yes, Jasmine Crockett, all she wants is tomorrow. It's Take Down Tesla Day. So the communists and the jihadis, they started manufacturing Molotov cocktails, and they got rifles and ammo. And who is it that today in the media they're talking about revolution because a Turkish woman who's a pro-jihad, anti-Israel, genocidal, racist, the Democrats are applauding her because they're not liberals. They're the left. Completely different proposition. And this woman at Tufts University, they call it Tufts. I think that they have like little pads that you tuck away, Tufts. Maybe that's something else. I'm not sure what I'm thinking about there. But Massachusetts University has a Turkish student, naturally a graduate student, naturally 30 years old. Kind of remarkably, just like Mahmoud Khalil. He's a master's student and 30 years old. And we treat them like they're 12-year-olds in school. Oh, come on. He just wants to wipe Israel off the map and all the Jews in a genocidal smite of the nation of Jewish people. But pay no attention to that. The Democrats applaud that. They're the ones who are driving the train. And speaking of which, the Democrats are the ones driving the train on the literal communist in Las Vegas, Nevada, who is also a Hamas lover, is a communist who loves Hamas. It's the red-green coalition, the red communist, the green Islamist coalition. And they're not on the side of civilization. But the Democrats are on the side of them. There's no doubt about that. Democrat Party. I talked about this on my Newsmax television show last night, and the lib at the table, the professor, Jason Nichols, like, well, they're not he's not a Democrat. He's a communist who loves Hamas. And I think everybody at the table just burst out laughing. Well, sure, all Democrats, they're just a communist who loves Hamas. That's the Democrat Party today. I'm sorry to have to report. But Jasmine Crockett, she's a crazy, loopy, racist who went to private schools all her life and then picked up ghettoese somewhere. I'm not sure where. We've got that. But Senator Ted Cruz was on the television last night, not a communist, not a jihadi. He's on our side, Senator Ted Cruz from Texas, on the Sean Hannity program on the Fox News Channel last night, and asked about Jasmine Crockett, who said that he should have his head bashed in because, they're getting ready to fire on Fort Sumter again, these Democrats. Slavery might be making a comeback if the Democrats take over the way they're talking about taking over, because you know how they love slavery. We had to fight the Civil War to take the Democrat slaves away from. But we've got Senator Ted Cruz and responding to her, and she ought to be responded to. The Democrats, they're just on the side of everything unholy. They're on the wrong side of everything. Barack Obama was like, you're on the wrong side of history. And then he told us that because he came along, that was the moment when the rise of the oceans began to slow and the planet began to heal. I'm seeing nothing but bombing and war since he said that, but never mind that. President Trump's trying to bring the wars to an end, and the Democrats are trying to bring President Trump to an end because they are the party of the military-industrial complex and of Hamas and of Jew hatred, which is genocidal anti-Semitism, and they're in favor of all of that. We've got a lot going on. We've got members of the Trump administration, the Trump cabinet, traveling to various foreign lands where they're attempting to bring good things to life, right? And we've got that going on. I'll share some of that with you. In Las Vegas, I mentioned I was driving into Newsmax yesterday afternoon, listening to the radio. You have one of those in your car? I was listening to the radio, and I was listening to a live press conference out of Las Vegas, Nevada, where not the sheriff, but the assistant sheriff. Wasn't Barney Fife the assistant sheriff? Aren't you a deputy if you're not the sheriff? But they have an assistant sheriff. He might outrank deputies. Outrank you. And the assistant sheriff holding a press conference, Dory Corrin, talking about this Democrat they arrested, who's a communist who loves Hamas and rifle, firebombs, terrorist, Democrat, perfectly mainstream. The Democrats have created a lot of terrorist organizations, from the White Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. Their boy Nathan Bedford Forrest, Forrest Gump was named after Nathan Bedford Forrest. They made that a fun little scene in the Hollywood movie, Forrest Gump. Amazing stuff. And then they created the Students for a Democratic Society and the Weather Underground and the Symbionese Liberation Army and the kidnappings and the killings and the robberies, and all to fund the revolution. And on college campuses, they found these SDS, Weather Underground radicals like Bernadine Dorn, right? And they give them tenure at major universities. And William Ayers, hey, they should be influencing the next generation. So they hire these communist bombers, terrorists, and they smile their way through their entire college careers, pay them lots and lots of money, give them housing, give them all kinds of free stuff, lots of time off, and free trips. They give them all kinds of good stuff, rewarding the terrorists and all of the lunatics. The word lunatic was used a couple of times yesterday by people, and rightly so. So I've got an update for you on that. The Communist Party loves the Hamas and it loves firebombing, as so many Democrats do. And tomorrow is, it's great because it's the 29th tomorrow. And Michael, you know whose birthday it is? It's Jasmine Crockett's birthday tomorrow. And she's hoping that Elon Musk will be taken out because they're a violent bunch. They always have been. Jim Crow, they stand in schoolhouse doors. They're not on our side. So we got that. Also, last night on the Fox News Channel, an amazing episode. Brett Baer on the TV show Special Report at 6 p.m. on the East Coast, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. He had Elon Musk on, plus seven members of the DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. That's something the Democrats are against. They're against government efficiency. They want more corruption, money laundering, government inefficiency, the theft of billions and billions of our tax dollars to fund their radical left-wing, genocidal, anti-Semitic dreams. Are they pipe dreams? if we start talking pipe dreams with these guys, we could find ourselves in a weird place pretty fast. But Elon Musk was on there along with 7 of his Doge friends. And I kept hearing they're like 19-year-olds or something. They're all adults. They're all serious adults who run corporations and took a little time off and left their families to come do the right thing by the government, because we've been operating a money laundering scam out of Washington for so long now that our filthy, corrupt news media, they support the corrupt money laundering operation because the left set it up to benefit the left, and the news media represents the interests of the left. And so the corruption will continue unimpeded if the New York Times and CNN get their way. So we've got a lot going on there, a lot of good stuff. One of the things watching last night, amazing stuff. For example, there are about 2.4 million government employees, but we've issued 4.6 million credit cards. The government has to government employees. So let's go with the high number, 2.4 million government employees, 4.6 million credit cards. What do you have, like your Citgo gas credit card plus an American Express platinum card? You got a black card. Why do we have more credit cards for government employees than we have government employees? That's a legitimate question. Also, they talked about the cave where we have all our documents stored. One of the reasons that everything takes so long in the government is the government they took over a cave, filled the cave with file cabinets stacked 10 feet high or 10 cabinets high. I was a little unclear on that. And you go in to find what's in there, and it's like Raiders of the Lost Ark, where the Ark of the Covenant ended up. Oh, by the way, there was a story yesterday I didn't get to that the CIA says they have located the Ark of the Covenant, the biblical Ark of the Covenant. But never mind that. If they do have it, it will end up in that cave, and it'll end up next to the John F. Kennedy. We've got the Tufts student seeking a master's degree in hatred, apparently. And President Trump was like, hey, and our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, and he talked about it too, and we've got him for you as well. Tell you about canceling student visas for radicals. And the Democrats are willing to go to war to protect student visas for radicals that are genocidal racists. Me, I'm a Zionist. I believe that Israel has the right to exist. I'm in favor of Israel. My best girl and I vacationed in Israel not so long ago. This woman at a lot of fun. So Marco Rubio talked about it because the news media is like, well, why would you cancel student visas for jihadis that want to wipe allied countries off the map and commit genocide against all the people? See, because she's demanding that the United States condemn the genocide against the Palestinian people, which isn't happening, and divest from Israel because there are too many Jews there. And the Democrats applaud that. Even their Jews applaud that. President Trump has selected a number of people from the House of Representatives. The Democrats are planning on let's just say, winning every one of those congressional seats, stealing the House of Representatives back, and putting the radical anti-Semite Hakeem Jeffries, who was mentored by, growing up, all the time he was growing up, mentored by his notoriously anti-Semitic uncle, Professor Leonard Jeffries. And so he loves the hate, too. But the Democrats are playing their two special elections in New York, too. President Trump pulling too many people from the House of Representatives. Democrats are planning on, let's just say, grabbing every one of those House seats and making the radical Hakeem Jeffries the Speaker of the House, and then paralyzing the administration for the next 3.5 years because that's their plan. That's their plan. President Trump was also out there yesterday, of course, because he's out there every day. And one of the things, he holds multiple press conferences every day. Joe Biden has got to be, well, he's in an iron lung. He doesn't know what's going on in the outside world. He never has, really, not for decades. But President Trump talking about Greenland, and we have, who are we sending to Greenland? We're sending J.D. Vance, our vice president, is going to Greenland. And, hey, Greenland, how'd you like, maybe a free NFL football package or something like that? You got that. Kristi Noem she went to Bogota, Colombia, and had a nice talk with them in Bogota, Colombia, which is not the university. It turns out, for Democrats listening along, you have Columbia University, then you have the country of Colombia, completely different. Then you have the District of Columbia, which might be the District of America. We should call it the District of America. Pretty funny. But Kristi Noem in Colombia, I believe she's headed to merry old Mexico today. They have margaritas there, all kinds of good stuff. So we've got a lot of stories for you. And the news media very upset. Fox DC, Trump targets DC. They love the word targets and targeted. Everything's targeted. The Democrats are the ones firebombing everything and shooting places up all over the place and supporting Hamas. But somehow Trump targets DC in latest executive order, establishing safe and beautiful task force. See, he's targeting it with safety and beauty. And they're against that. They don't, safety? What? What's this? Carjackings? What about all of our sons and their guns? They're out there shooting and robbing and carjacking people. We've got to protect our... Eleanor Holmes Norton released a statement on President Trump's anti-home rule D.C. executive order. I've lived here for more than 30 years. I'm anti-home rule. I think home rule should be taken away from the District of Columbia. The left-wing radicals, they love crime. They throw mentally ill people out in the street to die in front of you and in front of the children. That's their plan. They have a solution for homelessness. It's to throw them out on the sidewalk and starve them to death like the Russians in Ukraine. They honestly, the left is here. They're not liberals. Trump targets anti-American ideology at the Smithsonian Museums. Hey, how's that? Is that Clarence Thomas exhibit up at the African American Museum in Washington? When the Clarence Thomas exhibit is up, then I'll go visit that museum. Amazing stuff. Yeah, because the left-wingers, they take over everything and they corrupt everything that they touch, including the Smithsonian. I don't know if they've corrupted the zoo, but that's included. It is run by the Smithsonian. So we've got that. And also... they tore down was Democrats because they're all the racists that the Democrats are objecting to. Every filthy one of them a Democrat.
It's on there, and I don't know what their deal is on there, and that goes in and out like that.
The Chris Platt Show.
I just made coffee.
5.9 WMAL, making sense.
I was outside. I got cardinals outside. I got my binoculars so I can see them.
Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center. Quickly delays leaving Alexandria to the Wilson Bridge on the outer loop. The crash before the bridge span blocks the right lane of the through lanes. And now we have delays into Newington for the crash on 95 northbound, blocking the right side. Southbound, still some volume pushing out of Lorton to Woodbridge with that crash cleanup mostly to the right shoulder. That left lane is still coned off. And in Northwest, New York Avenue, west of the 3rd Street Tunnel for the crash, slowing in each direction. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Mostly cloudy today. Afternoon showers likely and a high near 70. Partly cloudy overnight, low 57.
If you've never had a chip cooked in beef tallow, get ready. Masa chips are made the old school way. No seed oils, no weird ingredients, just real food, corn, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed tallow. The crunch is insane, the taste is real, and you actually feel good after eating them because staying on top of your game starts with what you put in your body. Go to masachips.com and use code MM30 for 30% off your first order. Masa Chips, real ingredients, unreal crunch.
Why did I wait so long to see a retina specialist?
Retinal disease can steal your eyesight, but it doesn't have to. Patients who seek care from a retina specialist have the best chance of preventing vision loss due to age-related macular degeneration or diabetic retinopathy. AMD symptoms to look out for are distortion or warping of straight lines, as well as blurred or loss of central vision. Patients with diabetic retinopathy should seek treatment if they notice the appearance of spots or floaters or blurred and distorted vision. Visit seeforalifetime.org.
Today's students are tomorrow's great thinkers and innovators. But right now, millions of kids don't have the supplies they need. Donor Shoes is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. Learn more at DonorShoes.org.
Bravo TV star Lala Kent holds nothing back on the Give Them Lala podcast.
It's very a lot. You want the headline. Here is my interview with Vicky Gunvalson. Who did the biggest number on you?
I'm not friends with Tamara anymore, which is fine.
Do you feel like you guys can repair?
No.
Stick to what you know.
Iconic.
Absolutely fantastic. It is like the Super Bowl every episode.
Give Them Lala.
Unhinged, but also amazing TV.
Get ready.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Hi, I'm Jamie McMurray, professional race car driver here with cab driver Artie.
Professional cab driver.
Professional cab driver Artie. Drinking responsibly is knowing your limits. If you are over yours, ask Artie or someone like Artie to get you home safely. To learn more about drinking responsibly, go to beforeyoudrink.org.
So, you think I could take your number 26 Crown Royal race car for a spin?
Would you get out of there?
Be a champion. Drink responsibly. This message has been brought to you by the Century Council.
While serving in Iraq, our vehicle was hit. They didn't think I was going to make it. I'm Latoya.
If you've never had a chip cooked in beef tallow, get ready. Masa chips are made the old school way. No seed oils, no weird ingredients, just real food, corn, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed tallow. The crunch is insane, the taste is real, and you actually feel good after eating them. Because staying on top of your game starts with what you put in your body. Go to MasaChips.com and use code MM30 for 30. If you've never had a chip cooked in beef tallow, get ready. Masa chips are made the old school way. No seed oils, no weird ingredients, just real food, corn, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed tallow. The crunch is insane, the taste is real, and you actually feel good after eating them because staying on top of your game starts with what you put in your body. Go to MasaChips.com and use code MM30 for 30% off your first order. Masa Chips, real ingredients, unreal crunch.
Bravo TV star Lala Kent holds nothing back on the Give Them Lala podcast.
It's very a lot. You want the headline. Here is my interview with Vicky Gunvalson. Who did the biggest number on you?
I'm not friends with Tamara anymore, which is fine.
Do you feel like you guys can repair?
No.
Stick to what you know.
Iconic.
Absolutely fantastic. It is like the Super Bowl every episode.
Give Them Lala.
Unhinged, but also amazing TV.
Get ready.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
While serving in Iraq, our vehicle was hit. They didn't think I was going to make it. I'm Latoya Lucas, and I'm a veteran. I had to learn to live with the scars, both visible and invisible.
DAV helps veterans like Latoya get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year.
My victory is overcoming my wounds so I can help other veterans.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
WMAL, making sense of education, because what's happening in your kid's school matters. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
You know, I was talking about the political assassin Luigi Mangione yesterday. Democrats have raised about $760,000 for him. They send him love notes. He's a cold-blooded murderer of a father of two, a CEO, Brian Thompson of United Healthcare. And they love that. The Democrats love that. There's something wrong with them, I think. You know, the Democrats. Michael, let's take a phone call. Let's go to Paul calling from Los Angeles, California. Paulo, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Yes, sir. I just had a comment. I wasn't sure how Sandy Cortez and Bernie Sanders, how they did that. I don't know if they're doing self-medicating with stupid pills, because it seems to continue on no matter who's in that spot. And unless there's some kind of inbreeding going on, I'm not 100% sure.
Well, you might be onto the situation. You possibly inbreeding Bernie, the Bolshevik Sanders, who actually participated in the 1917 Bolshevik Revolution in St. Petersburg, and then his junior minion, Alexandria, as you said, Sandy Cortez, as she was known in high school, at her beautiful high school. Check out her high school on Google Earth. It's the nicest looking high school you've ever seen. Just beautiful. And where she grew up, very, very nice, Tree Line Street. Father worked for an architecture firm. She's oppressed. She should.
Third Street Tunnel, northbound, heavy volume to the light at New York Avenue. We still have crash activity west of the 3rd Street Tunnel on New York Avenue, giving us delays each direction. Heads up in Alexandria, outer loop of the Beltway, bunched up before Telegraph Road to the crash. As you approach the Woodrow Wilson Bridge, it's the right lane of the through lanes blocked. 95 northbound coming out of Lorton to Newington, stop and go with the crash activity along the right side. Now from Garage Door Repair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Mostly cloudy today. Afternoon showers likely, and a high near 70. Partly cloudy overnight, low 57.
If you've never had a chip cooked in beef tallow, get ready. Masa chips are made the old school way. No seed oils, no weird ingredients, just real food, corn, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed tallow. The crunch is insane, the taste is real, and you actually feel good after eating them, because staying on top of your game starts with what you put in your body. Go to MasaChips.com and use code MM30 for 30% off your first order. Masa Chips, real ingredients, unreal crunch.
Making sense of the media.
The news media is attacking him because this is what happens when you're a Republican.
Chris Plant, weekdays 9 to noon.
Now, our news media, Billy.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Bravo TV star Lala Kent holds nothing back on the Give Them Lala podcast.
It's very a lot. You want the headline. Here is my interview with Vicky Gunvalson. Who did the biggest number on you?
I'm not friends with Tamara anymore, which is fine.
Do you feel like you guys can repair? No. Stick to what you know.
Iconic.
Absolutely fantastic. It is like the Super Bowl every episode.
Give Them Lala.
Unhinged, but also amazing TV.
Get ready.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Hey, I'm Rachel McIntyre. In life, you'll hear a lot of people tell you that you can do anything you want. I'm here to tell you that's true. Since I was a little girl, I dreamed of becoming a successful singer and entertainer. It took a lot of hard work, dedication, and perseverance to find my success, but it was worth it. I never gave up on my dreams. Remember, you can never have a dream come true until you've had a dream. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months and whose daughter is due any day. We're with all service members and their families. Are you with them? Learn more at USO.org today.
Why did I wait so long to see a retina specialist?
Retinal disease can steal your eyesight, but it doesn't have to. Patients who seek care from a retina specialist have the best chance of preventing vision loss due to age-related macular degeneration or diabetic retinopathy. AMD symptoms to look out for are distortion or warping of straight lines, as well as blurred or loss of central vision. Patients with diabetic retinopathy should seek treatment if they notice the appearance of spots or floaters or blurred and distorted vision. Visit seeforalifetime.org.
NBA veteran Jim Jackson takes you on the court. You get a chance to dig into my 14-year career.
Your phone has a lot of apps, but how many of them help you make sense of your world? The new WMAL app gives you the latest headlines, perspective from the voices you trust, and weather info to keep you in the know.
Fucking
All
ignorant
without
fuckers.
having to remember yet another password.
Now what?
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
Stream your favorite shows, get the day's top headlines, and access our podcast archives, all with the new WMAL app.
Thank you.
Get the WMAL app today on Google Play or the Apple App Store, and stay connected.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Bowling Street? Girling Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Bright Focus Foundation's Alzheimer's Disease Research Program is paving the way for a cure. Learn about symptoms, diagnosis, and breakthrough research at brightfocus.org or call us at 1-855-345-6237 for free resources.
Every 15 seconds, someone is diagnosed with cancer. If it's happened to you or someone you love, the American Cancer Society can help at every step of the journey. Visit cancer.org today.
WMAL, making sense of the forecast, because you never know what Mother Nature has in store. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Yes. Now, the arrest, I guess, and canceling a visa of a Tufts University woman, 30 years old, another 30-year-old student. It's low IQ theater gone global, and the Democrats have vacuumed up all of the intellectual dwarves and brought them to the United States, put them on very often Ivy League campuses because they want to spread the toxins. They want to poison people that will end up in the highest levels of government and business, from the boardrooms to the Situation Room. They want to have the corrupt people from the Ivy Leagues there. Speaking of which, Luigi Mangione, he went, he's all Ivy League. He got his bachelor's degree from the University of Pennsylvania, an Ivy League institution. I believe they hate the Jews there, don't they? And apparently healthcare as well. But I know a few people in town, and I talk to people, and I've got a friend, federal law enforcement, who said law enforcement buddies all over D.C. are telling him that they're getting ready for a summer. Didn't they call it the Summer of Love? And then they murdered a bunch of people out west and sacked and looted and plundered and burned and looting became normal. The Democrats made looting normal, and they made arson normal too. But it turns out that law enforcement all around, in and around Washington, D.C. are gearing up for another busy summer, mostly peaceful protests, as the Democrats call them, when city blocks are burning behind them. It's mostly peaceful, other than the violence and the criminal activity and the mobs and the arson and the firebombing and the attacking the police and all that. But police in Washington, D.C. are gearing up for another violent summer because the left, and they go crazy and get violent over everything. Like, a 30-year-old Turkish woman had her student visa pulled because she's a frothy, genocidal, left-wing, radical anti-Semite. And the Democrats are like, hey, that's free speech. Kill the Jews. And they put on their Palestinian headdresses and go out and set stuff on fire. And they bring the Palestinian flag, such as it is, or the flag of Islam, but they burn the American flag. And they love Luigi Mangione. He just murdered, assassinated a healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson, and he's a hero of theirs. And they've raised a whole, $750,000 for Luigi Mangione. And Luigi Mangione, he got his BA at the University of Pennsylvania, and then he got a master's degree at the University of Pennsylvania, Ivy League. That's why it's called the Poison Ivies. They're all the Poison Ivies. Amazing. And it was pointed out to us by one of our brilliant listeners that Elvis Presley did a song of the poison ivy long ago. But it's true that the police in and around D.C. getting ready for the left to be violent all summer long in our nation's capital. And where's the I've got the where's the headline about the revolution, because they're threatening revolution because a woman from Turkey who is a genocidal anti-Semite activist had her student visa pulled at the age of 30. She's still got a student visa, but never mind that. Also, the Democrats very excited. They've always got some kind of an event coming up. Tomorrow is Burn and Attack Tesla Day, not just nationwide, but globally. They say they like everything to be global, just like the communist revolutionaries of the 20th century. But also coming up, they've got Transgender Day of Visibility. That's March 31st, 2025. That's going to be Monday. And they've got Transgender Day of Visibility. How much visibility will there be, do you think? Because it's going to, but the Democrats, they've got transgender, a lot of gender dysphoria in the Democrat ranks, but they're going to have their Transgender Day of Visibility. That will be Monday. Tomorrow, they've got their Attack Tesla and Tesla owners and Elon Musk. Then they got members of Congress saying basically that he should be killed. We've got that. The Democrat Party is not liberal. The Democrat Party is the left, and the left is violent and likely to be criminal and have a lot of sexual issues, clearly, obviously. But they're rallying across to honor the trans community. You mean the transgender community, because tran is just a prefix used in various contexts. To honor the trans community, that they don't like the U.S. military, but they want to fill the U.S. military with transgender people. President Trump trying to expel transgender people who are never deployed to combat zones from the U.S. military, and the Democrats are taking it to Democrat Obama judges to try to overturn everything. That we've got another Obama judge in the news today, another Obama judge, because the Democrats take everything to an Obama judge, sometimes a Biden judge, sometimes a Clinton judge, but normally to an Obama judge, because like, hey, she's a radical, she'll eat anything, It's like Mikey. But with all of that to get into, and the unfolding authoritarianism, lawyer reacts to ICE detaining Tufts student. And that's CNN's headline. Their first words in their headline are unfolding authoritarianism. Sorry, Barack Obama threw people as political enemies in jail all over the place, abused the FBI, lied to the FISA court, spied on their political enemies. Put Naval Academy grads behind bars because they're involved in Republican Party politics. And they spied on the Obama people, used the intelligence community and the CIA. That's why Barack Obama chose a communist, John Brennan, who voted for the Communist Party candidate Gus Hall for president and bragged about it because Barack Obama was mentored by a communist, Frank Marshall Davis, when he was growing up. Pay no attention. And then we've got the communists firebombing the Tesla dealerships in Las Vegas, Nevada. But before we get to all that, let's go back to, I want to get to Ted Cruz, because he was on television yesterday. And he was asked about Congresswoman mental case, that's her nickname as a mental case, Jasmine Crockett, who is just out of her gourd. If she has a gourd, she's out of it. Jasmine Crockett on NBC, again, advising violence against the Republican Senate.
I think that you punch. I think you punch. I think you're okay with you okay with punching. But it's Ted Cruz. I mean, this dude has to be knocked over the head, hard, right? There is no niceties with him.
I think she means there are no niceties. That would be a singular plural disagreement, speaking grammatically. But who am I to judge a member of the House of Representatives and her poor grammar? Amazing. Senator Ted Cruz was asked about this by Sean Hannity last night on the Fox News Channel. Hey, Congresswoman, Democrat, hero of the revolution, hero of the Democrat Party, Jasmine Crockett. She recommended bashing you over the head. What do What do you think about that, Senator Ted Cruz?
I don't know her. She's a congresswoman from Dallas. I've never met her. As far as I can tell, she's never done anything in the House of Representatives other than scream obscenities. But I'll say it's sad. It's really sad that this is where the Democrat Party is.
We played her screaming obscenities here on the radio yesterday or day before yesterday. She does curse up a storm, the F and S and this and that, and she's keeping it classy. You don't use the word classy. It's not really a word that you use, except when you're describing people who are so lacking in class that you use it mockingly, and that's appropriate in this case with this trash on fire known as Jasmine Crockett. Ted Cruz, it's not just her. It's really kind of the Democrat Party.
The Democrat Party, they're floundering. They don't stand for anything other than rage and hatred. They hate Donald Trump. They hate Elon Musk. They're now the party of violence. She's happily calling for violence.
She's happily calling for violence. The Democrats and Congressman Steve Scalise was shot and nearly killed on a baseball field by a Bernie Sanders campaign volunteer, James Hodgkinson, using a Chinese combat rifle. Steve Scalise was on a baseball field, baseball practice for the annual congressional baseball game, and the Bernie Sanders volunteer was planning on murdering every Republican on the field. If not for the fact that Congressman Steve Scalise was there, he was in leadership at the time in the House. So we had a detail of U.S. Capitol Police, not the guys that shot Ashley Babbitt on January 6th, but James Hodgkinson, the would-be mass murdering, mass political assassin, which the news media brushed off and went to lunch moments later. That was nothing at all because, he was a Democrat that tried to assassinate a whole baseball field of Republican members of Congress. Then, of course, President Trump was shot through the ear in Butler, Pennsylvania, an attempted assassination, another suicide attack. But the Steve Scalise attacker, James Hodgkinson, the police detail that was assigned to Steve Scalise, gunned down, as the only way to stop him. It was another suicide attack. We got suicide attack against Donald Trump. A counter sniper for the Secret Service had to kill the would-be Trump assassin, and the U.S. Capitol Police had to gun down James Hodgkinson, the would-be mass political assassin, because that's your Democrats. Now, Senator Ted Cruz last night talking about the Democrat Party 2025.
We see death threats across the board. By the way, Donald Trump had 2 assassination attempts, and that kind of rhetoric it plays into it.
Yeah, that kind of rhetoric plays in. And what about Elon Musk? And he's talked about all the death threats he's getting and the fire bombings and the terror attacks. And tomorrow is a day of rage against Elon Musk, and that the Democrat Party has declared the violent criminal organization called the Democrat Party. Ted Cruz.
It is unfortunate to see the rage we're seeing right now, domestic terrorism, directed at Tesla dealerships with radical leftists coming in with Molotov cocktails, bombs in an Austin Tesla dealership, firing guns. Somebody's going to get killed.
Yeah, I got to tell you that Michael Piercy and I were having this conversation the other day, and the way that the Democrat Party is behaving, the violence that they bring to the dance, kind of a big deal. I think if Republicans had this checkered past over the last few years, January 6th, we heard that like 500,000 times. Only person killed on January 6th was Ashley Babbitt, a 12-year veteran of the Air Force that was gunned down by Lieutenant Byrd of the U.S. Capitol Police, who was lauded with praise and awards by the Democrat Party, applauding his no warning, no non-lethal force, just shoot and kill the young woman, veteran, 12-year veteran of the U.S. Air Force, honorably discharged, unlike Hunter Biden, for example. Man, oh man. Ted Cruz, Senator Ted Cruz, last night.
And at some point, the Democrat Party needs to stop being out of their minds. Like when I was first elected 13 years ago to the Senate, there was such a thing as moderate Democrats. They're not anymore. They now just are the party of rage and hatred and extremism, and that's an unfortunate thing for our country.
That is an unfortunate thing for our country. I agree with Senator Ted Cruz on that. And it does, I don't want to say it feels like 1860 around here, but it feels like 1860 around here. And it was the Democrat Party in 1860 and 1861 they elected their boy Jefferson Davis president of the Confederate States of America, and they broke away so they could ignore the Constitution and the federal law and keep their slaves because they're not on the side of civilization. This Democrat Party, they're not the good guys. Wait till you hear the police officer, the Las Vegas assistant sheriff, on the man that they arrested for the terrorist attacks on the Tesla dealership there, firebombing. And wait till you hear all about him, because he's quite a remarkable case. He is, and he sums up pretty much everything that the Democrat Party is today. I've got that coming up for you. And again, the police in D.C. getting ready for the Democrat Summer of Rage. You know, that is, I've got Elon Musk and the Dojniks for you. They were great last night. And some of the stuff you hear, some of the stuff they said, just amazing stuff. We still have, more than 15 million people signed up with Social Security that are marked down as being 120 years old or more. That's our government doing their work. They revealed a lot of amazing stuff last night, and I'm going to share as much of it as I can with you. And the Democrats furious about a Turkish woman being arrested because she lied on her visa applications, and she's a genocidal racist who's stirring up trouble. And the Democrats like, no, that's free speech. Yeah, Sieg Heil, Democrat Party. Sieg Heil.
Like, this is not America. This is a terrible nightmare. Somebody slap me and wake me the f up, because I'm ready to get on with it.
You're listening to The Chris Plant Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
WMAL traffic from the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center. Virginia 95 northbound between Lorton and Newington. Still watch for the stop and go. Crash contained one single right lane blocked. Once you get by the accident, wide open onto 395. Outer loop. Still watch for some residual delays to get you past Telegraph Road. The crash before the Wilson Bridge, that has been cleared. Now heading through Annandale. The outer loop approaching the Little River Turnpike with crash activity. And roadwork slows the inner loop of the Beltway crossing the American Legion Bridge heading toward the Cabin John Parkway. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Mostly cloudy today. Afternoon showers likely in a high near 70. Partly cloudy overnight, low 57.
Hi, I'm Jamie McMurray, professional race car driver here with cab driver Artie.
Professional cab driver.
Professional cab driver Artie. Drinking responsibly is knowing your limits. If you are over yours, ask Artie or someone like Artie to get you home safely. To learn more about drinking responsibly, go to beforeyoudrink.org.
So, you think I could take your number 26 Crown Royal race car for a spin?
Did you get out of there?
Be a champion. Drink responsibly. This message has been brought to you by the Century Council.
Blowing out your birthday candles should be easy, but if you have undiagnosed COPD, you may find yourself short of breath. Early diagnosis and treatment can add years to your life. If you have symptoms like wheezing or chronic cough, talk to your doctor and visit copdfoundation.org today.
Happy kids heal faster. That's why Starlight Children's Foundation delivers happiness through gaming, toy deliveries, and more to hospitals across the country. Learn more at starlight.org.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months and whose daughter is due any day. We're with all service members and their families. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Illuminating the issues.
There's a whole lot missing here in this story, isn't there?
Every day.
Why are we the only ones reporting this?
News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news.
Bravo TV star Lala Kent holds nothing back on the Give Them Lala podcast.
It's very a lot.
You want the headline.
Here is my interview with Vicky Gunvalson. Who did the biggest number on you?
I'm not friends with Tamara anymore, which is fine.
Do you feel like you guys can repair?
No, stick to what you know.
Iconic.
Absolutely fantastic. It is like the Super Bowl every episode.
Give Them Lala.
Unhinged, but also amazing TV.
Get ready.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
As a young adult at this point in your life, you probably have a lot of questions. Like, what's next? What does my future hold? The thing is, there's no right answer, only your answer. Your friendships, experiences, and purpose. It's all your choice. So what will you choose? As you make choices about the future, the military can be a resource for information to help bring a fulfilling path into focus. A public service message from the Department of Defense. To learn more, visit todaysmilitary.com.
This is Women's Work with Nicole Khalil.
I wish you health, physical, mental, emotional, financial, social, and most definitely spiritual.
Redefining what it means to be doing women's work.
I would rather have the temporary pain of discomfort than the avoidable pain of regret. But hear me when I say this. Believe in something. Believe in yourself. That, more than anything, is absolutely women's work.
This is Women's Work from Believe. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Your phone has a lot of apps, but how many of them help you make sense of your world? The new WMAL app gives you the latest headlines, perspective from the voices you trust, and weather info to keep you in the know, all without having to remember yet another password.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
Stream your favorite shows, get the day's top headlines, and access our podcast archives, all with the new WMAL app.
Thank you.
Get the WMAL app today on Google Play or the Apple App Store, and stay connected.
Hey, I'm Reba McEntire. In life, you'll hear a lot of people tell you that you can do anything you want. I'm here to tell you that's true. Since I was a little girl, I dreamed of becoming a successful singer and entertainer. It took a lot of hard work, dedication, and perseverance to find my success, but it was worth it. I never gave up on my dreams. Remember, you can never have a dream come true until you've had a dream. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
WMAL, making sense of the roads, because traffic doesn't always follow the pattern. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
The Democrats are very angry with our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, because Marco Rubio is in the way of looking at college campuses and all the radicalism, and in particular the anti-Israel, anti-Semitism on college campuses, that the Democrat Party is fanning the flames of the anti-Semitism, the anti-Israelism that they've got all over the place. And it's completely berserk that the Democrats are just on the wrong side of everything, absolutely everything. There was a Turkish student, that is a student from Turkey, who was arrested by ICE. And I want to play that because the news media, they're going bat guano crazy about this. Unfolding authoritarianism. That's the CNN headline. The first words in quotation marks. Lawyer reacts to ICE detaining Tufts student. She's a Tufts student, a student at Tufts University. And that's all they care about. Now, this student is 30 years old. The student is a grown woman from Turkey, which is a country, a NATO member, and it is a largely Muslim country. But the Democrats are going bat guano, crazy over this. The Associated Press, Turkish student at Tufts University detained. Video shows masked people handcuffing her. Now, this kind of makes me laugh because I recall the news media, the Associated Press and CNN not giving a hoot when grandmothers were thrown in handcuffs by federal law enforcement for praying outside of an abortion clinic in Washington, D.C., and thrown in prison for years, sentenced to years in prison, grandmothers for being pro-life. But if you've got a 30-year-old woman pretending to be a student at Tufts University, and the law enforcement comes for her, and it's immigration and customs enforcement, it's ICE that came to get her, and it looks like that, she violated the terms of her student visa. It wasn't a jihad visa. It wasn't a genocidal hate visa. But the Democrats, they're in favor of jihad, and they're in favor of genocidal hatred, especially if it's of Jewish people. But the people at the Associated Press are very upset, and I had to read very deep into these stories to find the facts that are most important, most salient to the story. But a Turkish national and doctoral student, naturally a doctoral student who wouldn't be, and hey, wasn't Luigi Mangione at an Ivy League school and the master's? He got his master's there, right? He's ready for his PhD. And maybe he can get it from the penitentiary, where he's going to be sent for the rest of his filthy, rotten, murderous, hate-filled life because of the assassination of a healthcare CEO. But a Turkish national doctoral student at Tufts University has been detained by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security without explanation. It was without explanation. What was the explanation for the grandmothers being thrown in prison for years? Oh, yeah, they were pro-life. Oh, they blocked the door. Yeah.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 10. Good morning. I'm John Matthews. Vice President J.D. Vance leading a delegation of Trump cabinet members on a trip today to Greenland.
They are all going to visit a Space Force base in Greenland as the president names specific rivals and adversaries he is hoping to get a leg up on.
If we don't have Greenland, we can't have great international security. If you look at the ships outside of Greenland, China, Russia, places that we have to be there.
Putin's ears perked up at the mention of Russia there. He now says we will not allow encroachments on the sovereignty of our country.
85% of Greenlanders in recent polls say they want no part of being Americans. More significant federal layoffs are coming soon. 7 News' Adriana Hopkins.
The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services announcing it is cutting 20,000 positions. Elon Musk spoke to Fox News about Doge's efforts to downsize the government and slash spending.
It might be the biggest revolution in government since the original revolution. But at the end of the day, America is going to be in much better shape. America will be solvent. The critical programs that people depend upon will work.
Local governments are trying to find ways to help those laid off. Prince George's County considering giving $1,000 to every resident who loses a federal job. Some on the county council, though, question whether the county can afford that. Federal agencies are up against a mid-April deadline to submit plans to ditch D.C. in favor of less expensive cities.
Even though they haven't moved any agencies yet, I want to say that we want to be proactive. We don't just want to be reactive to what this administration is doing.
Which is why Virginia Congressman Suhasini Subramanian and Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen are introducing legislation that would require any federal agency looking to move out of the region to publicly release a cost-benefit analysis first. Maryland Congresswoman Sarah Elfreth.
We're simply asking the federal government, the White House, to show us their math.
Heather Curtis on WMAL and WMAL.com.
Amid the federal layoffs, Fairfax County faces a tough challenge to balance its budget.
When you start looking at what's going on in the federal government, I mean, we do face a problem of uncertainty.
County Executive Brian Hill in uncharted waters. Not only is that county dealing with a $300 million deficit and how to bridge that gap, the county is also home to 80,000 plus federal employees. And if there's massive job loss due to downsizing, negative effects will follow, as he tells 7 News.
And then having a problem with property taxes or personal property or just living. That's not something that anybody's ever had to deal with.
Still, he remains optimistic.
We're in a good spot. Trust me. We'll make do with what we have.
Scotland on WMAL and WMAL.com.
Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkins named former Deputy Secretary of Education Emily Ann Gullickson as the new state school superintendent. She had been working in that role on an acting basis after former Chief Lisa Coons abruptly resigned 2 weeks ago. Former middle school history teacher, Gullickson joined the Youngkin administration in 2023 after serving as the founder and president of a nonprofit group dedicated to putting students first. The Dow is down 253 points, NASDAQ down 131. Traffic and weather next.
When your business information is missing or inconsistent across the internet, search engines won't find you, and customers won't either. Help ensure customers see you and not your competitors. Boost your findability. CumulusBoost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
If you've never had a chip cooked in beef tallow, get ready. Masa chips are made the old school way. No seed oils, no weird ingredients, just real food, corn, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed tallow. The crunch is insane, the taste is real, and you actually feel good after eating them because staying on top of your game starts with what you put in your body. Go to masachips.com and use code MM30 for 30% off your first order. Masa Chips, real ingredients, unreal crunch.
Making sense of your morning.
Lots of coverage here on that developing story.
O'Connor and Company, weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Larry O'Connor here getting you through your morning.
Making sense of Washington.
Asking some very specific questions, some legitimate questions.
Making sense of the double standard.
And here's the latest example.
Making sense of the headlines.
Let me break it down for you, because there's plenty to break down here.
O'Connor and Company with Larry O'Connor. Mornings from 5 to 9. News Talk 105.9. WMAL. Making sense of the news.
Every 15 seconds, someone is diagnosed with cancer. If it's happened to you or someone you love, the American Cancer Society can help at every step of the journey. Visit cancer.org today.
For a local news source you can trust, visit WMAL.com.
Thank God for that.
Get the day's top stories, stream your favorite WMAL shows, access our podcast archives, and more. WMAL.com, making sense of your world online.
Steve Hirshhorn in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
95 northbound, still pretty slow from Route 1 in Woodbridge up to the accident that is near the exit for Backlick Fullerton. Exit 167 northbound 95, the right lane is closed. On the outer loop of the Beltway now, southbound on 495, there was an accident blocking the right side of the exit ramp to 236. Then on the outer loop at Telegraph Road, it was an accident blocking two left lanes, very heavy, and so just the right lane getting by, outer loop at Telegraph Road. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
And it'll be warmer this afternoon, highs between 65 to 70 with maybe an isolated shower chance this afternoon. Tomorrow, 20 degrees above average, highs between 80 and 85. It'll be a little bit breezy and lots of cloud cover Sunday, highs in the upper 70s with an isolated rain shower chance. I'm 7 News meteorologist Eileen Whalen in the First Alert Weather Center.
53 at Reagan National. John Matthews, News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. Chris Plank.
Let's be clear. Mahmoud's rights are our rights. This is a moment that should alarm all of us. If we do not stand up and fight for Mahmoud's freedom today, the lawless Trump administration will come for us all.
If you're unlawless, does that mean that you're lawful, Gun? That's Democrat jihadi Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. She hates the Jews and the state of Israel. And she loves Mahmoud Khalil, who is a Syrian citizen, lives in Algeria, in the United States on a student visa, where he failed to note that he's affiliated with Hamas-loving organizations and genocidal jihadi groups. Why would he? But the Democrats will protect any jihadi. The more anti-Israel you are, the more of an anti-Semite you are, the more the Democrat Party will protect you. They will lay themselves down, and they're very upset now because another student visa holding 30-year-old woman, this one from Turkey, is having her student visa pulled, and the Trump administration, Department of Homeland Security, Immigration Customs Enforcement, looking at deporting her back to Turkey because of her involvement with radicals and because of her political views. Now, is that free speech? Is that protected free speech? You're here on a student visa. You're not an American citizen. Are you here to agitate on college campuses and stir up violent dissent? Again, the Associated Press. Turkish student at Tufts University detained. Video shows masked people handcuffing her. And they got there's a couple of women. They have two women, and they have their Wuhan masks on, like they're concerned about the Wu. Maybe they're Wu fearful. A Turkish national and doctoral student at Tufts University has been detained by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security without explanation. The Associated Press says that's not really true. Her lawyers said Wednesday, well, you should definitely take her lawyer's word for it, just like the media likes to take Hamas's word for everything that happens in Gaza. Rumeysa is her name, Rumeysa. Rumeysa Ozturk, Ozturk. She must be from Turkey, like Dr. Oz. So Rumeysa Ozturk, 30 years old, had just left her home in Somerville, that's Massachusetts, on Tuesday night when she was stopped. Lawyer Masha Kanbahi. It's Kanbabi. That's the lawyer Kanbabi. Said in a petition filed in a Boston federal court, probably found an Obama judge there. Video obtained by the Associated Press appeared to show 6 people, their faces covered, taking away Ozturk's phone as she yells and is handcuffed. "We're the police," members of the group are heard saying in the video. A man is heard asking some random passerby, "Why are you hiding your faces?" It's Massachusetts, a lot of, you were fine with that when grandmothers were being arrested outside of abortion clinics while praying. Kanbabe said Ozturk, who is Muslim, where they got a comma, who is Muslim, comma, was meeting with friends for iftar, the meal that breaks the fast at sunset during Ramadan. And we're in Ramadan now. We are unaware of her whereabouts, and we have not been able to contact her. No charges have been filed against Rumeysa to date that we are aware of, said the lawyer Kanbabe. And a statement, putting out statements, Ozturk has a visa allowing her to study in the United States, the lawyer Kanbabe said. Now, that's great, but does she have a visa that allows jihad and genocidal racism and stirring up trouble on campuses? Because the Democrats love that. Neighbors said they were rattled by the arrest, liberal Massachusetts, which happened at 5:30 p.m. on a residential block. Or should it happen on a commercial block? It looked like a kidnapping, said Michael Mathis, a 32-year-old software engineer whose surveillance camera captured the arrest. That's where the Associated Press got their video, apparently. They approached her and started grabbing her with their faces covered. I looked at the video. I don't think they approached her and started grabbing her. They're covering their faces. They're in unmarked vehicles. Yeah, they very often are. Tufts University president Sunil Kumar said in a statement that the school learned that the authorities detained an international graduate student and the student's visa had been terminated. Terminated, I tell you. Now, we actually have the audio of the video that the Associated Press is talking about, and I want to share it with you because it's not like a big violent to-do. It's a 30-year-old woman on the sidewalk, and it's true, police, federal law enforcement, approach her and she's taken into custody. Squeal. Little Ned Beatty thing. Oh no. Sounds pretty mellow, doesn't it? They're talking. There's video. You can see the video from the neighbor's doorbell cam, and we've got that. Democratic Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley called the arrest a horrifying violation of Rumesa's constitutional rights to due process and free speech. The Democrats are all about constitutional rights and free speech when they've got terrorists and terrorist supporters to defend, right? Because they're not on the side of civilization. So just amazing stuff. And then a reporter in Boston talking about the arrest and the video, and they're very excited about it up there because they've got to save the jihadi.
A Turkish student in Boston was detained and handcuffed on the street by plainclothes agents. A year ago, she wrote an opinion piece about the Gaza war. Could you help us understand what the specific action she took led to her visa being revoked?
Yeah.
And what was your State Department's role in that process?
We revoked her visa. It's an F1 visa, I believe. We revoked it.
Ah, yes. I'm sorry. This is a reporter asking Secretary of State Marco Rubio about the arrest and detained and handcuffed. And Secretary of State Marco Rubio, because this administration is out there talking to the press all day, every day. And can you explain to me what happened here? And she's already got this background. She wrote an opinion piece. She says that she wrote a year ago or so, an article criticizing the university response to Palestinian issues. And you see, the woman said that in this thing that was published, Ozturk was one of 4 students in March of last year, who wrote an op-ed in the Tufts University Daily. It's called the Tufts Daily. Tufts is not a good name for anything because it's hard to say. Tufts, criticizing the university's response to its community union. And the community union Senate passed a resolution that demands that Tufts University, quote, acknowledge the Palestinian genocide, end quote. Well, there is no Palestinian genocide, so I don't think they're going to acknowledge that. And she demanded that they disclose investments in Israel and, Jewish things, and divest from companies with direct or indirect ties to Israel. So she's frothy. She's not alleged Palestinian or from Gaza or from Israel, where they have democracy and people are free. But never mind that. They don't hang people for being gay, which they do in most places that are run by Islamists. And she's from Turkey, but she's demanding that Tufts University acknowledge the Palestinian genocide, which again does not exist, and divest, because this is divest, the BDS, boycott, divest, and insult Israel. The radical left is all about this. So Friend said Ozturk was not otherwise closely involved in protests against Israel. That's that's what the Associated Press found. And who are they talking to? But after the piece was published, her name and work history were featured by Canary Mission. That's a website that says it documents people who, quote, promote hatred of the USA, Israel, and Jews on North American college campuses, end quote. And there it is, the anti-Israel activism, and they sign up the genocide of the Palestinian people. Now let's get back to Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State. So, and they've got these protests on campus, and now they've already got professionally made signs from print shops. Release Rumesa Ozturk now. And they got angry fists, these black fists, and they're always demanding. They never request anything. They're always demanding. And they always do it with a mob of people who are yelling, and they have list of demands. Marco Rubio is the Secretary of State. saying, hey, the United States, we're not just an open door for jihad and gang members from all over the world.
Let me be abundantly clear, okay? If you go apply for a visa right now, anywhere in the world, let me just send this message out. If you apply for a visa to enter the United States and be a student, and you tell us that the reason why you're coming to the United States is not just because you want to write op-eds, but because you want to participate in movements that are involved in doing things like vandalizing universities, harassing students, taking over buildings, creating a ruckus, we're not going to give you a visa.
Yeah, they've got supporters rallying and, again, professionally made signs and all this good stuff, and Marco Rubio's having none of it.
If you lie to us and get a visa and then enter the United States and with that visa participate in that sort of activity, we're going to take away your visa. And once you've lost your visa, you're no longer legally in the United States, and we have a right, like every country in the world has a right, to remove you from our country. So it's just that simple.
So it's just that simple. Doesn't seem too complicated, Marco Rubio.
I think it's crazy. I think it's stupid for any country in the world to welcome people into their country that are going to go to your universities as visitors. They're visitors. And say, I'm going to your universities to start a riot. I'm going to your universities to take over a library and harass people. I don't care what movement you're involved in. Why would any country in the world allow people to come and disrupt? Now, we gave you a visa to come and study and get a degree, not to become a social activist that tears up our university campuses.
And calls for a genocide and claims that the poor innocent members of Hamas are the victims in all of this. And, enough of you. Tui, I say. All right, we have looks like we have a great call to go to. Let's go to the phones. There is still more Marco Rubio coming up, too. But let's go to Nina, calling from Bristow, Virginia, who is from a Turkish family. Nina, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Good morning, Mr. Plant. Thank you for taking my call.
Welcome. Happy that you called.
Yeah, so I wanted to just comment on this kind of behavior. First, it's a little embarrassing that it's all over the news that she's Turkish. My family and I are very proud of our Turkish heritage, but we grew up in an Air Force family. So we're pro-America with a very colorful heritage. I will tell you, my sniffer tells me that there's a little bit more to the story than we know about. There's a very large radicalized Turkish population in this country that are Islamists. And I just wanted to make the point that she couldn't act like this in Turkey. And I wanted to remind our listening audience that Erdogan, dictator Erdogan, has jailed Christians for years and years in Turkey for spreading the word about Jesus. So the least we could do in return, and not for retaliation, but to set the tone and make sure that, some people like this are good examples of. They have to remember that they're visitors in our country here. My family took many years to get our citizenship. It took me, I guess, 7 years to get my citizenship. And we did it the right way. I had to learn the Declaration of Independence, put my hand up and swear on the Bible that I would uphold the laws and rules of this country and be a productive citizen. So when we have people who are invited to our country who are privileged to come and get an education and then go back to Turkey and have a successful life because they have a diploma from an American university, they need to act right, be on their best behavior, and not tarnish the image of Turk. That's what I wanted to say. It's a sad thing that she would be arrested in Turkey if she dissented against Erdogan and his stronghold. So
we don't want to. We want to.
Why it's a big deal.
That's right. I mean, we obviously want to hold ourselves to a higher standard than Erdogan's Turkey, naturally, and I believe in free speech and everything else. But again, you come to the United States on a student visa, on a temporary visa, and then you engage in radical, I would say, genocidal, advocating genocidal behavior. And Hamas, when there's a war going on, you're on the wrong side. And again, the Hamas was firing more rockets at Israeli civilians yesterday. I talked about it yesterday on the radio. I think I mentioned earlier, my best girl and I, we went on vacation several years ago now to Istanbul and had the time of our lives in Istanbul. Loved it. Always wanted to go to Istanbul. Finally got there. Had the greatest time. Wonderful stuff. Erdogan, not the greatest of bad, not the worst of bad guys, but he's somewhere in the middle. And obviously, families like yours, Nina, great Air Force family, Turkish American family, on the right side of everything. And I'm very happy that you called in.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. But I wanted to leave you with this point, Mr. Plant. I think that there's a little bit more to the story that they're able to reveal. Like I said, we've known this. We, the Turkish community that is not part of the radicalized Islamists, we know that there's a very, very large population of Muslims in this country that are the way that this woman thinks. They're called FETÖ. I don't know if you remember Mr. Fethullah Gülen, who passed away last year. Erdogan's greatest rival from their college days. He has funded since the 1990s so many charter schools, and they have indoctrination facilities. And this is just, I think she may have been involved in some things that we don't know about yet on the news, but I'm happy to hear you follow up on it, sir.
Very, very good. Nina, wonderful call. Thank you so very much for calling in. God bless you. And thank you and your family for being an Air Force family.
There's only one Chris Plant. The Chris Plant Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
If you've never had a chip cooked in beef tallow, get ready. Masa chips are made the old school way. No seed oils, no weird ingredients, just real food, corn, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed tallow. The crunch is insane, the taste is real, and you actually feel good after eating them, because staying on top of your game starts with what you put in your body. Go to masachips.com and use code MM30 for 30% off your first order. Masa Chips, real ingredients, unreal crunch.
Today's students are tomorrow's great thinkers and innovators. But right now, millions of kids don't have the supplies they need. Donor Shoes is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. Learn more at donorshoes.org.
Making sense of your world.
This is no conspiracy theory. This is a fact. Here it is.
Mark Levin, weekdays 6 to 9 p.m.
Listen to this, would you?
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months and whose daughter is due any day. We're with all service members and their families. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Every time I feel my baby kick, I sing. You don't understand. I never sing. I'm not good at singing. I'm the only person I know who's been booed off a karaoke stage. But that was before I was pregnant. Today, I'm a singer with a captive audience of one. She doesn't boo me. She never will. We know how it feels. We're the March of Dimes. Find out how we can help you have a healthier baby at marchofdimesbaby.org.
Award-winning series from Imperative Entertainment, Boomtown, In the Red Clay, Deviltown, Fox Hunter, In the Land of Lies. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Happy kids heal faster. That's why Starlight Children's Foundation delivers happiness through gaming, toy deliveries, and more to hospitals across the country. Learn more at starlight.org.
Your phone has a lot of apps, but how many of them help you make sense of your world? The new WMAL app gives you the latest headlines, perspective from the voices you trust, and weather info to keep you in the know, all without having to remember yet another password.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
Stream your favorite shows, get the day's top headlines, and access our podcast archives, all with the new WMAL app.
Thank you.
Get the WMAL app today on Google Play or the Apple App Store, and stay connected.
I have to go.
Takes you on the court. You get a chance to dig into.
Somebody's here, so I have to leave. I'll be back later.
I'm excited to be on your podcast, man. It's an honor. Spike Lee, entrepreneur.